You heard the promo about Time to Train Fitness and you're thinking, how do I get some dumbbells? There's really only two products that I recommend when it comes to at-home fitness, and one of those are the Core Home Fitness Adjustable Dumbbells. If you're already following the YouTube workouts, these are the dumbbells that I use, me, Tyler, and you've probably seen me adjust them between the weights super fast. Along with adjusting quickly, they go from 5 pounds to 50 pounds and feel great in the hands. Head to the link in the description and grab yourself a pair. You have the free workouts on YouTube and will now have the dumbbells to help you reach your fitness goals. Let's get to the episode. Welcome to another episode in the MovieBuffs Podcast. This is an instant reaction on The Night Agent, which is a Netflix series. My name is Tyler. I'm going to be going through this one, and I'm going to start off by saying this has been a hard outline and hard episode for me to put together because I'm generally a pretty big optimist. I try to be pretty positive with a lot of stuff and put out positive into the world, and I'm already joking right here that and trying to put a positive spin on this, but this was a bad series in my opinion. It was pretty bad, and you know, these instant reaction episodes, they're spoiler free, and I originally started putting these ones out, these types of episodes, to kind of promote movies, promote going to the movies, promote watching new shows that came out, and hopefully give people ideas of what to watch. Because I know that for myself, spending time looking for something new, it's kind of like, what are people recommending? What's out there? What's new? Let's watch the trailer for it. And with this one, I'm just starting off saying that I wouldn't recommend this. But we're going to be talking about The Night Agent. Again, it's a Netflix series. Some interesting things I'll say that I saw about this series already, even today. I saw a tweet today that this series has become the 6th most watched English language series of all time. Most watched, 6th most English language series of all time, which is surprising. Before I hit record on this, I was actually looking through the IMDb reviews of this, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. And I will say, though, that the ones that were positive for this show, they're about an 8 out of 10 on the reviews. And it didn't seem like complete reviews, I'll say. But the ones that were bad reviews, they were spot on with what I think about it. That in terms of the story sucked, the acting was poor, and that it was a outdone story again. And a lot of those reviews were 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 5, 3. And right now on IMDb, it has a 7.6 out of 10 rating, which is higher than a lot of really solid shows that I was actually looking up this week when I was trying to find something to watch. So the fact that it has such a high rating, that probably goes to why it's the 6th most watched show. People are talking about it, but I don't get it. I think some of it, there's some clout for it when I think there's better stuff out there. It really started off in my mind. So this is kind of a joke that I've been saying, that it started off as a Netflix series. Generally, most Netflix series, of course, there's some bangers like Ozarks. But it started off as a Netflix series. So, okay, it's not bad. Oh yeah, okay, keep watching. Then in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is kind of like CBS level. And no offense if you watch CBS shows, I don't, but they move to that level of quality of acting and even sets and whatnot. But then by the end of it, I was like, is this a student film? Can somebody that just graduated from college, can they film something better than this? Or did they get a director that was just out of college and this was like their first hit? They knew somebody, maybe a producer, and boom, here you go. Here's your credit. Let's get you into the industry kind of thing. Because honestly, one step further from how this series ended, they could have been acting to cardboard cutouts and it would have been better. Like, it's mean to say that, but I found myself just shaking my head a lot during the last episode. Like, why would they do that? Is that even realistic? And I'm trying to keep it spoiler free with some of these things. But I feel like if you listen to this and you actually do watch this series, you'll be like, holy crap, why did I continue watching this after the first episode or 3 episodes, 5 episodes? It's really, it's a very Americanized espionage series. That's really the easiest way to say it. I saw a tweet maybe 2 weeks ago, and I tried to find it actually recently because I wanted to show my wife how it had like these 4 different like thumbnail images of Netflix series that were about espionage. On there was like the Bodyguard and Treason, which I did a instant reaction on. And I don't know what the 4th series was, but it's like, these are basically the same movie. And people were laughing and quoting it, retweeting it because they were saying that's totally true. And some of them eerily have similar scenes. But going back to this being Americanized, I mean, there's unnecessary relationships and sex scenes and things that one-liners that aren't funny and are kind of just cheesy. And compared to the other ones, Treason and Bodyguard, which I have seen, I would every day recommend those 2 over The Night Agent. And I had to pause there for a second because I don't know why I keep calling it The Night Watch. And maybe that's because that's what he does. But I'm straying right here from trying to continue to put this out. But first, I would say Bodyguard and then Treason. If you were to pick something in the espionage field that you haven't watched yet and you do want to watch something, but it's still crazy to me. Just doing the research for this, it's already renewed for a 10-episode season. 10 episodes more. I thought that. I'm jumping around here with my summary. I thought that it should have ended 2 or 3 episodes sooner. I thought the story was over. And if you have seen this already, you probably know what I'm talking about. I thought that it was about to end like at episode 8, and then it keeps going. I was like, what? How is there more of this? You could have just wrapped it up right there. And I wouldn't think it's a 2. I'd maybe think it was a 4 out of 10. But it just kept going for 10 episodes. Something else that I didn't know about this, though, was that it's based on a novel by Matthew Quirk. That's just something that I found in the research for this. So got to throw in this podcast episode. A quick promo break here in this episode. If you've been a fan of our podcast, you've probably already heard me, Tyler, one of your hosts, talk about the Naboso insoles. If you are ever wondering about, what are insoles? How do they help my feet? Are they really useful? I got to tell you that I've been wearing these Duo insoles for probably a year and a half now, and I think they're game changers. If you sit at a desk, if you are on your feet, so basically anybody, for anybody in the world, they can really help with your health. If you ever have foot pain or if you have any type of issues with your feet, these can be a game changer for you. Hopefully, you take my word on it. You head to the link in the description, you buy yourself a pair, and you come back and you share it that, I actually bought those insoles and they actually do work. That'd be something that we'd love to hear, love to see, because that means that you're working on your health. That's it for the promo break. Let's get back to the episode. Talking about the cast now of this. First, the main actor, Gabriel Basso. You might remember him from Super 8. He was a child actor in that. He's much more, he's older and more mature in this. And one of the reviews I saw before I hit record on this did say that he's a decent actor in this and you believe him. And I'll give it that. I honestly will give him that. He wasn't too terrible. He sticks to his character story the whole time and the foundation of what his character does, what it believes in the whole time, even if it is cheesy at times, 100% cheesy. I'll give him that. The next character that I would consider one of the main ones is Lucien Buchanan. I've never heard of her. And from the credits on her IMDb page, she's relatively new. There's nothing really I could have shared that would be like, okay, yeah, I know who that is. The last actress that on here that maybe you recognize, her name's Fola Evans Akingbola, and she was in Trying, which is a show on Apple TV, which I would recommend watching. Also, there's Siren and 10%, 2 shows that I hadn't heard of, but she has a lot of credits from those series. Let me read you now the IMDb summary. Low-level FBI agent Peter Sutherland, I feel like that's such a FBI name, Sutherland, works in the basement of the White House manning a phone that never rings until the night it does, propelling him into a conspiracy that leads all the way to the Oval Office. And you'll be like, listen, if you've been actively listening to this episode, you're probably like, okay, I could see how this is an Americanized espionage show already. One of the issues, and I'm going to go over two right now, that I had with this before I wrap this up with the recommendation is the sets. So you can tell pretty quickly that they spent money on this series to make it look good. It's filmed well. I guess that's a positive of it. You can tell that the cameras were nice, I guess. The sets look good, but it very quickly goes from the opening scene in DC. If you've been to DC, you've taken not the monorail, but the subway, the train, anything like that. You know what that looks like underground. Any of the underground stations, you know what I'm talking about. It goes very quickly from that scene in DC to Vancouver very quickly. And it's pretty obvious that you're not in DC or Virginia throughout this whole series. And then there's even scenes where they're quote unquote at Georgetown University, and it's clearly not Georgetown. Georgetown, it's very iconic and it's in other movies. And if you've been there, you know what it looks like. This university does not look like Georgetown at all. So, I mean, is it the biggest issue? I kept thinking about how I was a big fan of Dexter, or am a big fan of Dexter. My wife and I are. And they film it in Long Beach, where we went to college, and we stopped at some of the spots that they say are in Miami. But maybe at least they have like wide shots of Miami that make it look like they are, okay, here's where we're at in Miami. And then boom, it's some close-up shot they're in Long Beach where they're filming. But in this, I feel like it's pretty obvious that they're just not in DC, Virginia, Georgetown, that they're somewhere else. My biggest issue now, and this is something that I've already touched on, and it's the acting. The first episode is decent. It catches your attention. And even though you're kind of like, I've seen this storyline before, or this seems very similar, it drops off a cliff very quickly in terms of the storyline, the acting, and the cheesiness of it, especially as it get to the latter third of the movie. I felt like the last few episodes just became hard to watch. Some of the characters, the bad character, quote unquote, bad guys, I don't want to almost drop somebody there, that the bad guy in this, he starts off mysterious and all of a sudden he has a much bigger role. And you're like, you should have stayed as a more mysterious role, in my opinion. And even his last name in it, you're just like, are you trying to go off of a movie that's pretty popular right now? And again, if you watch this, you know what I'm talking about. But the acting, it just gets bad. And add on top of that, the forced sex scenes, the forced relationships with it, and even how it ends with this quote unquote relationship. You're just like, oh my goodness, like, please, you should have ended this like 2 episodes, 3 episodes sooner. But, you know, as I always gotta say, that's my opinion. With the storyline of it, though, it was kind of a joke that we had while we were watching it, my wife and I, that she was guessing everything that was happening, and it was happening right on cue with everything, because it's a lot of overused stories. And I saw people with the reviews saying, oh, it's very hard to come up with stuff that's new. Then why make it? Why make this outplayed story? I think that's something that people have with other types of content out there, is why make it if you're just going to reuse the same thing that's played out and then add on bad acting on top of that. But yeah, I'm getting over the negative train of this instant reaction here. So I'm going to wrap it up now with a recommendation. So would I recommend it? I've already said I wouldn't, but maybe if you're all caught up on all your shows, if you've caught up on all your shows that you've been missing out on, and you caught up on your movies, that by the time that you do get to your movies, they were maybe already on streaming services. So, okay, maybe then But then I'll throw on top of that, maybe you can make sure that you folded all your laundry, you did all your honey-do list, maybe you got your oil change done already, then maybe watch it. But in all honesty, I would recommend you watch The Bodyguard instead. It's with Richard Madden, King of the North, if you know what that is, if you're in a Game of Thrones. I would recommend watching that one. If you want to potentially see what I thought about the show Treason, which is with the actor that plays Daredevil on Netflix Disney, check that out. I can actually put a link in the description for that episode. But that has been this instant reaction on Night Agent. It's a Netflix series. As you could tell, it was not something I enjoyed watching. I still can't believe all the things that I shared about this series. 10 episodes coming, 7.6 rating out of 10, and that more's coming. So that's been it. As always, thank you for listening to the MovieBuffs Podcast. Thank you for being a fan. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. That definitely helps out with letting people know about our podcast, that we're getting out there, putting out more episodes, all new content coming throughout this year, and hopefully some more podcast hosts. And you'll see what I'm talking about in the near future. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you in the next one.